The Holy Gospel according to St. Mark, the 11th chapter. When they were approaching Jerusalem at Bethphage and Bethany, near the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples and said to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately as you enter it, you will find tied there a colt that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it. If anyone says to you, 'Why are you doing this?' just say this, 'The Lord needs it and will send it back here immediately.'" They went away and found a colt tied near a door outside in the street. As they were untying it, some of the bystanders said to them, "What are you doing untying that colt?" They told them what Jesus had said, and they allowed them to take it. Then they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their cloaks on it, and he sat on it. Many people spread their cloaks on the road, and others spread leafy branches that they had cut in the fields. Then those who went ahead and those who followed were shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our ancestor David. Hosanna in the highest heaven." Then he entered Jerusalem and went into the temple. And when he had looked around at everything, as it was already late, he went out to Bethany with the 12. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Please be seated. This evening, as we continue our individual Lenten journeys, we'll join Elias and Abigail as they follow Jesus from Jerusalem to the cross. Their journey will find them serving as eyewitnesses to several key events. And each week during this Lenten season, we'll travel with them as we all make our way to Holy Week. Our story begins with Jesus sending his disciples to a village where they find a colt. As they were instructed by Jesus, they untied the colt and told those who asked that the Lord needed it.
You there! What do you think you're doing? That animal doesn't belong to you. Go quickly and tell Elias that someone is trying to take his colt.
Elias, come out here.
What is all the commotion? Why have you called me out here?
We called you because we thought we caught 3 men taking your colt. We thought they were stealing it.
Well, thank you for stopping them. I don't know what this world is coming to.
Well, we didn't stop them.
Why could you not stop them? Were they armed? Or are you all cowards?
Neither one. When we challenged them, they said that the Lord had need of it. They spoke with such authority that we didn't think we should stop them. Besides, they promised to return the colt.
And based on the promise of strangers, you let them take my property without resistance.
I assure you, their intentions seemed honorable.
Does your assurance include a promise to replace my colt if it is not returned by tomorrow?
I make no such promise.
Before you go, tell me one thing. Which direction did these thieves travel with my colt?
Well, they were headed to Jerusalem.
Hearing all the commotion and the voices, Elias's wife, Abigail, enters.
Elias, what has happened?
I'm afraid that we have lost one of our animals to thieves, my dear.
Oh no, couldn't your friends stop them?
Some friends, they let our colt go simply because the thieves said the Lord has need of it. Well, of course he does. I have need of it too. And I happen to be the owner of that colt.
What can we do?
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow these men at a distance to see who this Lord of theirs is. I will get my animal back. They were headed towards Jerusalem, so they should be easy enough to track. If I'm not back by tomorrow, see if some of our friends might come find me.
and Elias heads off to Jerusalem. In the background, shouts of Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our father David. Hosanna in the highest can be heard. And as the shouts die down, Elias enters. He's very excited, and he begins to tell anyone and everyone about what he just saw. Jesus riding on his very own colt, the colt taken from his property and without his permission. The shouts of the crowd were ringing in his ears. Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our Father. Hosanna in the highest.
Did you all see that? Could you see it from where you are? No? Of course you couldn't see it. The crowd was huge. Biggest crowd I had ever seen. And I was part of it. I was in the middle of everything. Did you hear them shouting and cheering? Then after he passed by, the crowd thinned. In a few more minutes, no one will even know what happened here. But something did happen. Something monumental, and I saw it. It was something that could never be repeated. And he was riding my donkey. Can you believe it? My donkey. Here I thought they had come to steal it. I was going to catch him off guard. I was all set to challenge his authority and demand that my donkey be returned to me. And I would have too, if I hadn't seen the crowd, been a part of it, the crowd and all the excitement. Do you know how quickly emotions can change? I went from angry to confused to intrigued to ecstatic in a matter of minutes. He did that. You know, he is responsible for all this glorious commotion. I'm not sure who he is, but I guarantee you, I'm going to find out. Yes, sir. Before this week is out, I will know who this man is. Look at that. The crowd is almost gone. I can't wait around here. I'm going to see where he went. Can any of you follow me? Never mind if you can't. I'm not waiting for you. I have to follow him.
Later that evening, once Elias returns home, he and Abigail are seated at their dinner table, sharing bread and wine. And Elias tries to tell his wife just how amazing his day was. He does his best to paint a picture for her of all the sights and sounds he experienced in Jerusalem.
I tell you, it was magnificent. There are no words to describe what happened in Jerusalem, Abby. I was so close to him. I could have reached out and touched him.
The crowd was waving palm branches and shouting?
Not just waving them. The crowd was throwing branches down before him. They were taking off their robes and flinging them on the road. It was pandemonium.
Elias, did you get our colt back?
Abigail, don't you get it? I don't care about the colt. You should have seen this man. I would have given him anything he asked for. Our house, our barns, our fields, even myself in his service.
Now you're just talking nonsense. Besides, one of his men brought the colt back early this morning.
Wow. Did you invite him to stay? Is he still here? There's so much I need to ask, so much I need to know. I'll bet he has the answers.
I invited him to stay for breakfast, but he was in a hurry to get back. He said this was a very important week for them. If you ask me, I think he was a little stunned by all the attention. In any case, I gave him some water and he went on his way.
I wish I could have been there, Abby. I wish you could have seen him.
Yes, I gather that everyone is quite taken with this man. Who is he? What's his name?
Jesus. His name is Jesus. And I wouldn't say that everyone is taken with him. I saw some in the crowd who weren't that happy. There were even a few that looked like they were his enemy. But there weren't many like that. No one was foolish enough to stand up against him. His popularity is overwhelming. but I am afraid I did sense trouble on the horizon.
Do you really think there'll be trouble? I don't want to go to Jerusalem if there's going to be trouble.
Don't be silly, Abby. Of course, we'll go to Jerusalem. We'll make our usual trip at the end of the week. I'm not going to miss Passover at the temple. Besides, there may be a chance that we could see Jesus. I feel a great need to see him again. And you really need to see him too, if God wills it, and the crowds aren't too big. We may even get a chance to talk to him.
All right, as long as you think we'll be safe. I don't want anything to do with this Jesus character if it will put us in danger. Cheering crowds are one thing, but I'm not interested in hanging out with troublemakers.
I can't imagine what sort of trouble there might be. Jesus strikes me as a good man who knows how to handle himself. But I am curious about one thing.
Elias, your curiosity will be the death of me.
I'm sure it's nothing. But after he made his magnificent entrance into Jerusalem, he headed straight to the temple. Some of the crowd followed him. But I'm not totally sure of what happened once he got inside.
What did you hear? What did the crowd say?
He really didn't do anything. It was just a feeling I had. It was pretty late when he got there. Most of the money changers had left for the day. Even old Zibion, who sure changes everyone and stays late to take advantage of latecomers. When Jesus left the temple, I saw something in his eyes. He looked sad and angry at the same time. At first glance, I'd say he was disappointed. But something tells me it was a lot more than that.
What do you think will happen?
I don't know, but if I had to guess, I'd say that any trouble that comes might just start at the temple. Mark my words. I'm not saying anything bad will happen, but mark my words just the same.
Abigail and Elias settled down to prepare for their trip to Jerusalem for the Passover festival.